And I feel honored to be introduced by Rex, and I just wish that we could spend more time with Rex and Debbie. We appreciate so much their commitment to God, and I know that they have been such a blessing here in this area. The She's Bees have been a great encouragement to me growing up, as they were to many others, and are right now as well to, I know you all here. But it is a joy for me to be here as well, because I always leave pumped up, you know, when I've been here and spoke to you as a gathering. And then a few months ago, or several months ago, Rex picked me up at the airport in Tampa, and we came here and loaded a U-Haul, and I drove back or loaded a car, and all your shoes. I thank you so much. There's kids in Africa that are going to school every day that have shoes now they didn't have. And so the container that we put it on has just arrived there, so we're waiting on picks. So I'll send them to Rex when they come through. But thank you all, thank you so much for the way that you are helping us in our work. Whoa. Oh, I think am I going back? Oh, there we go. Okay. So this place, I mean, Deb's very familiar with, and the She's Bees. This is, and Rex too. This is a World Heritage Site. It's called Matopus, all these big boulders on top of each other. We used to go camping there and hiking there years ago, and that's, you'd think you'd be able to move those rocks, boulders. You're not going to budge them one bit. But it has got the heaviest concentration of leopard in the world, and a lot of baboons, and that speck you see at the top of that rock there is a baboon. And somebody said, man, some of them are big. Oh yeah, their teeth are about 4 inches, some of those baboons. This is, next four pictures is my grandson's pictures. He's already building somewhat of a catalog. He's 13 years old, and he's been to Africa with me 3 times already. And so we would drive, this was in Swaziland, and we were driving down this, we were in a wildlife park and driving down the road, and it kind of makes you feel weak in your stomach because we're looking at the grass, you know, and looking for animals. And suddenly the guide, and you can see why he's a guide, stops and he says, look closer there. And about from me to the second pew there was about 7 lions. And I just went, oh, we could be walking down this road and you'd look at the lion and you go, those are lions, and then your life is over. You know, you're done. but anyway, it's a young male lion. You can see the mane. And we kept on driving, and then we ran into not 1 but 7 rhinos. And it's just an amazing sight to see now in Africa because so many have been slaughtered. It is hard to see rhino, and to see 7. And he said, oh yes, we've got 7 right there, and I want you to know that they are guarded 24/7, and we take no prisoners. And so when we were looking at them, taking pictures of them, you know, we saw something else, large size, pass us. And so it was these guys. It was these guys, the hippos. And so we followed them to their watering hole. And then, of course, we saw elephant as well. And so the reason I throw that all out to you is that maybe Africa's on your bucket list, and why don't you make it a reality, man? Come with us. We've taken 125 people to Africa in the last 5 years, and everyone's come back. Here is, as you know, our work breaks down to good works and good news. And we looked at the life of Christ. And we saw the feeding that he did and the healing that he did. And so we wanted to pattern our life. And then the great teaching and the vision that he shared. And so that's what we want our ministry to be. And so this is in Swaziland. We had the ACT project, which is Africa Container Project, container transport. And you've been a part of that, and we thank you. We had somebody in Texas give us 7,000 backpacks. We went to the elementary school of 700 kids, and we gave them all backpacks. And you talk about happy. I grabbed these guys. They all had their backpacks. I think initially they thought I was going to mug them because I just grabbed them, you know. They don't know me, you know. And then finally they eased up, and then they wanted to spend time with me, you know. But some great guys, all happy to just get backpacks. We didn't put anything in them, but it's a door opener. We're going to be in that school. And so they were so happy. And after we'd given them all the backpacks, then the teachers said, well, where's ours? So we got them theirs too. And I want you to know, it's 700 students. They have no water at their school. They have 2 tanks, 500-gallon tanks, where they collect water off the roof. Rainy season's about 4 or 5 months, and then they dry. I said, show me your restrooms. You call it a restroom, they just throw lye in there, you know. And it just broke my heart. And so anyway, speaking to the principal, we're gonna drill a well for that school. We've already taken the survey, and we don't drill unless it's 90% probability, and it's 90%, and those kids are gonna have water here in the next few months, and we're so happy for that. But what that does then, the principal has already said, when we have the opening of the well, then we're gonna work out a program where the churches of Christ can come and teach. And we don't want you to teach for an hour a week. We want you to have like half a day. So there it is. You know, the end game is not physical water. The end game is living water. And that's where we're going. We gave some glasses. This is one preacher who for the last 3 years he's very, very poor as far as material possessions, didn't have money to buy glasses, and so when he prepare his lessons, he'd get his wife to read the Bible to him because he couldn't read his own Bible. And we got him glasses, which is a no-brainer for us. You know, we just go get them. Oh, you need glasses? Go get them. And man, he talk about happy. That's after he had finished crying. He said, Brother Flynn, I can read the book. You know, so we were glad for that. So we gave out glasses. We gave out new Bibles as well, and so we're thankful for that. And every time we do a seminar, we have a graduation, and we are thankful for that. I just want you to know right now that we are working, and everything I tell you tonight, we're partnering. We're all part of this, okay? But we are working with now, we started with 100, we're now working with 300 preachers in 5 countries in Southern Africa, and we've just kicked it up a major notch because after working with them for several years, we've now challenged them with the knowledge that they have and the knowledge that they are obtaining as we go through our program. They are adopting 5 others. And so we've got about 1,500 that are going to be a vital part of our maturing process. And so thankful for that. Oh, by the way, well, as a whole, we don't wear ties so much anymore, do we? You know, but one thing when I come here to the States and I'm speaking to congregations, I'm saying, listen, you guys that used to wear ties, they might still be hanging in your closet, give them to us, please. Because they still, in Africa, when they go to church, they dress to the nines, man. I mean, women are still with their hats and their high heels if they got it, and they dress so smart. And so we try to give, at the end of each of our seminars, give preachers some ties. So please, if you got any ties that you're never going to use again, we can use them. We can use them. So this is our 31 containers we've shipped in 9.5 years. You know what a blessing is? You know how much each container is to ship? It's about between $12,000 and $14,000. And we've shipped 31, and we've actually got 32 and 33 lined up right now. We ship them. We'll ship them later this month out of Nacogdoches, Texas, and Sheffield, Alabama. And you've helped us with shoes, but I've put it down that we need more shoes. Now, you've had the drive. I'm not asking you to do it again, but all I'm saying is thank you for helping us. But because we have adopted a new country, Lesotho, this year, and the needs are there as well. So this is my oldest grandson. I know you can't tell. And this is, he came with us to Swaziland. We had our major campaign in Swaziland, although we have been this year in Zimbabwe and Zambia and South Africa, and also as well, Venderland, which is South Africa, and southern South Africa as well. But anyway, this is where we're feeding children there. At the feeding that we do there in Swaziland, if they can eat the food when we serve them there, and then if they bring their own bowl or container, we'll give them another bit of food to take home with them, and this girl's packing hers. I just wanted to show you this picture. This is an awesome picture. This boy was we got to the village and we're about to distribute clothes, and he is naked. I mean, as in the South, they say, what, buck naked? I mean, he is naked, you know, he's got nothing on, and all of us that have grown in Africa, we've seen that kind of poverty. Well, his mother was able to get him, I mean, what a great, look at his socks, eh? Isn't that great? Got his cap on, you know. And then he got his sandwich and he got a banana or banana, depending where you're from. And I tell you, he just, I mean, it's Merry Christmas, even though it was in June, you know, Merry Christmas. Where we haven't drilled wells, there is drought, and that's, you know, the joke that we used to have growing up in the state of, that we lived in Zimbabwe is called Matabeleland, and it was always so dry, and we used to joke about jumping off a bridge and dusting yourself off. And it is so dry. And so there's areas where we haven't got wells yet that we try to help feed people when they don't have access to water. And so this is where we are right now. I'm on project which is making orphan meals, weekly feedings in Zimbabwe. And so we are thankful. And we are meeting the needs of over 10,000 people right now, nutritional needs. By the way, I don't want to ever stand here before you and you think we're just standing on the same place that we were last year, because we're not. We're moving forward continually, and so we're adding to, and as you can tell, we are. But this is our son Lee. He's our oldest child, Sherry and I, and he's taken on the ACT project, African Container Transport, but he initially started that, but he is just really expanding and working full-time with us. He's coming to Africa with me. And so here we were at the DAD project, which is the drilling of wells. And the DAD project, this is our first well in Lesotho. And we drilled the well, and then we had this big tank placed up high. It's what they did, the church there. And you can see sponsors, you know, and then you see that stands up there, and there are hundreds of people every day that see that tank and that come and get water there. That is a daily door opener, and it is just quite amazing. And so we are thankful. The chief of that particular village gave us 4 acres where we can now build our own building. We'll make our own bricks, and it'll be a facility that will be used 24/7. Afternoon classes with students. We'll feed every day. We will Bible classes. All kinds of projects will be going on there. And so here they are and these ladies are so happy because it was a 2-mile trip, two mile round trip to go get water. Can you imagine that? But some of them were blessed with another mode of transport. But she was so happy. She said, "I only got 200 meters to walk now, and push my bucket." Some things don't change. That's the chief that I'm standing next to, and he said, I said, "Thank you for the land," and he said, "Thank you for the water. We appreciate so much." And he says, "You know, we're just glad to give you the land." And then he said something to me. He said, "And my wife thought it was a good idea too." Oh, really? Who's the chief? That's the water. Looks like the bucket's empty, isn't it? Look, nice, clean, clear water. I've drank water from every one of our wells that we have drilled, but good, clean water, man. Lovely. So in 9.5 years, 61 wells. When I was here last year, we had done 57. And now we're up to 61. And so we've still got other wells to do and other things to make happen. I already told you about in Seka School in Swaziland as well. So that's the good works. End game is that they know living water, they know the bread of life. And so let's look at the good news a little bit. It's my wife, Sherry. She wanted to come, but we've got some of our family living with us right now, and so she's committed to that. But she taught a women's conference with some other women that we invited from the United States, and so it went real well. We also had children's classes. We had a VBS, 225 children, and thankful for that. This young lady was 3 years ago when we were there. She was working at the desk at the hotel that we stayed at, and she became a Christian, and she has just taken off, man. And she helped us every day. Her name is Princess, and she surely is one. We had a tremendous leadership seminar for all men and women, and I want you to know that we had them from Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Swaziland. And it was tremendous. And we had preachers from Kentucky and Texas and Tennessee come, and at the end, and also from Cape Town, South Africa, on the extreme left, Philip Hendricks, and on extreme right from Zimbabwe, Haley Malangani also. And then we had a Q&A at the end, and it was great because everybody had questions, and these guys, these seasoned guys, gave some great answers. So this is Margaret. You don't know Margaret. Margaret lives in Farmington, Kentucky, near Murray, Kentucky. And so I gave her a report there several years ago, and she said, Dorian, I'm coming. Now, I've had a lot of people say that to me, I'd like to go or whatever, but she sounded really committed. Well, she came this year, and she just had a wonderful time. She had never flown outside of the United States, and it was huge for her. And she said, I said to Margaret, Margaret, nobody else came with you? She said, well, one of the elders came up to me, kind of jokingly said, well, if you get back, then we'll think about going. So anyway, she got back. So we putting pressure on them, but we're glad that she came. We had teachers from Florence, Alabama, teaching there as well. This couple, this is their second trip. She has acute diabetes and she has a pump, but they come, man, and we make sure that she's taken care of. This is Rosalind from Texas that has joined us, single lady, a great teacher, and he has two teens that joined us from Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and there's another teacher from Kentucky that helped us. I want to stop here a minute. In fact, I think the Shees Bees would know Austin Vimba. Austin followed his uncle around many years ago, Jeffrey Nambezi, and he was 14 and I was 12 at the time when I met him. No, he was 17, sorry. My dad met him when he was 14, following his uncle around. Now, the only reason I want to share with you is because all that we're doing, this guy and his wife, Miriam, helped us make it possible. He's from Matabele land in southern Zimbabwe, and he grew up in the Lord's church, and he is also a Zulu from the Khumalo clan, which is very important clan. They're known as the royal, have royalty there. And so he used all his assets and talents and abilities to move the church forward. When he was in his late 40s, he told his wife, and by then he was a successful businessman. He had a number of buses going from city to city, carrying people. And he said, I just feel like I need to learn more of God's word. And so he had been given a paper by a missionary from International Bible College, which is now Heritage Christian, and it was The World Evangelist by Basil Overton. And he said, I want to go to that school. And so he sold all his buses, and he asked his wife and his two younger children to go live with her parents. And he said, I have enough money to pay for 1 year of school and my round-trip ticket, and I believe God will take care of us after that. And God did. And the wife came later, and the children came later, and him and his wife both went through the school and graduated, and they went back. And he went to an area, high-density area outside Bulawayo called Nkulamani. Right now, the population of Bulawayo is about 1.6 million. And so he went into the high-density area, and they planted a church. And that church grew to be about 500, and then it went down to about 300, and then it went up to 250 and down, kept on doing that. And what was happening all the time is every time they would grow, there'd be a lot of people coming from a certain area, and he'd say, you guys stay there and plant a church. And in the last 15 years, they planted a church a year from the, quote, Jerusalem Church of Bulawayo. And so Sherry and I were with them in March, having a wonderful time, and we got back, and he was at a wedding, and he asked them to sing a Zulu song that celebrates the joy that a husband and wife have, these newlyweds. But it points them, it's a gospel song, but it points them to looking to God so that God would be with them as they travel through life together. And everybody got up at the reception, and they all just sang together, and they put the couple in the middle, and they just sang to him. Then he sat down, and he was sitting down about 10 minutes, and he leaned his head over. Well, I guess it just kind of fell over on another preacher's shoulder, and he took a breath, and he passed away. 72. But I want you to know this man, the only reason I'm sharing with you is because he helped make this all possible. So Sherry and I flew back. I want you to know there was over 3,000 at his funeral. Just the largest funeral I've ever been a part of. When after I'd finished preaching, they opened up the casket and people could line up and view his remains, and they said not to dally, that you could come but just look and go on. 30 preachers got behind me and started singing, and they sang the whole time. They sang for 45 minutes, not a break. They just went from one song to the other. English, Zulu, Shona, they just sang. And they were all preachers that he had taught and baptized and mentored. And I told Sherry, I said, I could have stood there the whole day because that bass and that tenor and that passion, I had goosebumps when they started singing, When they buried him, and they buried him in his, where he grew up, and that was at Stanmore, about 50 miles outside of Bulawayo, there was a mile-long, procession of cars and buses behind us. And I'm just telling you that there's always people that have impacted our lives in major ways and minor ways. And as long as we're living, let's be used by God. Maybe we won't have as high a profile, but what is his life attests to that. Utilize your years on earth, man, to glorify God and to serve him. But anyway, that is the Vimbers, and just remember Miriam in your prayers. So we have the clinic. Did you know that when I was here last, we hadn't quite opened it? And I think I told you the story about how the vice president got going in Harare and got it open for us. So we're glad about that. Well, in a year, I want you to know that we have had, some wonderful things have happened. Well, first of all, that's the clinic. And I gotta tell you this story. So in July, that room where those people are staying, there's another room across from that. And there was 8 boys. And they were all just laughing, but apparently they were about to go in. So I said to the nurse, I said, what's the problem with them? Because they look just very healthy, 7 or 8 years old. And she says, Brother Flynn, they are going to be circumcised. So I thought they have no idea. Poor guys. I went to our school property, and I came back in about two hours, and they were not ready to take on the Philistines, if you know what I mean. So that's our waiting area at the clinic. And we have had, since September of last year, we have had 70 babies born there. And I said to the nurse, I said, 70? She says, this is a fertile area, We have immunized, and you'll see it on the stat sheet, but we immunize 100 children a month. And besides all the other things that we are doing. This is one of the babies born, but what I want you to see is where that mother and baby live. Look at that behind them. And that's the people that this area had no clinic. It was the nearest medical facility was 20 miles away, and literally children and elderly would die every year just trying to get there because they have no mode of transport except their legs. And so we meet in a tremendous, tremendous need. And so anyway, I just wanted you to see some of the cute babies. We also try to deliver some of the food to them. That nurse right there is an amazing lady. They can't come for checkups. So what she's got a scooter, and she heads out on those bush paths, and she goes and checks up on them. It's quite amazing. So 1,300 children, 70 babies, and then, circumcision, TB, AIDS, snake bites, blood tests, cholesterol, blood pressure, we do all of those things. And so thankful for that. Final thought what I want to share with you about our work is our Amazon Christian Academy. My daughter has been in Christian education for a long time, and so I said to her I said, listen, we've got to work on a constitution, we've got to work on a student handbook and a faculty handbook, and I need your help. So we start working on this together. And by the way, we've got it all done. We are rolling. My middle grandson, who's 10 years old, an artist, he just draws amazing things. He was just listening to us. And so he brought this. He says, "Granddaddy, what do you think of this?" And he says, it's Amazon, so I want to put two crosses together to make the A, because this is a school that's going to glorify God. And he knew that I wanted the mascot, which has been approved by the board, to be a lion. And then he put the other A. And I thought, well, I know I'm the grandfather, and I know that I'm probably biased, but I'm just going to show this to the board and I'll not tell them who did it, you know. And they all loved it. So we've adopted it. And as you can see, our motto is preparing students for life globally and eternally. And so anyway, that's my grandson on the right, and that's my daughter on the left. And I'm thankful for their input and what they contributed. This is our campus. Things are cheaper there. This is $1 million campus. But, you know, in Africa, labor is just minuscule. And we've also got tremendous people that are just donating their time as well. And so we are going to, now just let me remind you, when I was here last time, 4 acres for the clinic was given us. And when we got the clinic done, then we said, listen, there's no high school there. It's not that we just want to build a Christian high school. There is no high school there. They have a primary school, and then they're done. So what we are doing is filling a tremendous void, but it's going to be a Christian school, okay? And so they gave us 70 acres. So our campus has 70 acres. Let me see. Oh, wait, I'm messing up. I don't know. Which one? Middle one? Top. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. This right, wait, let me back up. That's the, I think I've frozen it now. I've really messed it up. But anyway, you probably can't read everything. So this is, of course, thank you so much. This right here is our dormitories, because it's going to end up being a boarding school also. We're going to pull from Southern Africa. So this is girls and boys, and there's two residences between there that we'll look over. This is also for the workers, and this is for our teachers and our staff here as well. So this is what you don't see in the next slide. This right here is right here, of course, our sports complex. We even got a fitness room. And you know what we're doing? We are partnering. We're partnering with 3 schools in the United States, and we'll partner with more. And when it opens, we're going to bring people over constantly that specialize in certain areas. Of course, preachers and teachers, you know. But we're also going to do those that specialize in math and English and sports, and bring the school communities in, and it's another way to reach people. This auditorium will seat 1,000 right there. It also has a cafeteria and also has the offices. Then this is the freshman wing, and then of course sophomore, juniors, seniors. We've also got sixth form, and then but the school has an academic avenue, but it also has what we term polytechnic. It has metalwork buildings, woodwork, sewing, cooking. That's all that there. Right there's the library and all the computer labs as well. So we are very thankful. So what we're hoping to open January 2019. We're not going to open with the whole campus. We're going to open just with the freshman wing, and we're going to add a class a year. So we will have the faculty housing done, and we'll have the freshman wing. And so we're working on the freshman wing right now. We've already raised $40,000. It cost $70,000. So God has been good. When I was here last time, I said to you that we had planted 1,500 tomato plants, because it's pointless building a clinic and a school if you can't support it there, because that'll never last long term. It just won't. So how do you do that? You do it through what makes money there, and what makes money there is agriculture on a mass basis. Farmers who had been kicked out of the country have done that for decades. And then secondly, livestock as well. And there are some farmers there, and some in livestock that we've got friendly with who are still living there, that we are gaining a lot of knowledge from. So that went so well. We sold tomatoes from April all the way to August, and it went great. So we said, okay, let's step it up a notch. So that's 45,000 tomato plants. And we've got trucks that come in there on a daily basis. They get like 70 boxes of tomatoes. And our tomatoes were done so well and nurtured by Christian families who had no jobs, no work, and they just jump in on it because we've given them a part of the take, okay? And they feel like they're entrepreneurs now, and that people are coming from everywhere. We're not even delivering tomatoes anymore. They just come and get it. Trucks from all kinds of towns and that. And by the way, you see all the sticks to carry the, carry the tomatoes up. That's 11,000 they went into the bush and they cut down. And no chainsaws, by the way. So it just shows you the commitment and dedication, you know. Oh, and by the way, the clinic's been paid for now, just by that. And then we'll add cabbage, and then we'll add corn, and we'll just keep rotating. So this is so far with the school. We finished that storage building, and now we're building the staff housing now. And that's Bruce Vimber, Brother Vimber's son. And he is heading up that project. He also completed the clinic as well. Great guy, just a wonderful young man. That's our well that we've capped right now. And there's our tanks that we've already bought. And that won't be used as our water source for the school, but it's used for our construction. Of course, we will use the well in time to come, but we're about to build a dam there as well to provide more water. And this is, we've got our board put together, and we've got our faculty put together. And the faculty is half American and half Zimbabwean, and the first principal is going to be a Zimbabwean who grew up in the city of Bulawayo. And as I told you about him before, that's him on the extreme right. He went to Freed Hardman, and in 2 years became student body president, and has now finished his BA. He's finished 2 masters. All the teachers are going to have their masters when we open the school in 2019 in their specific fields. But everybody also, we have agreed to it, the board and the faculty, that everybody that teaches there has also got to have a BA in Bible. What are we about? This is a Christian school. We want Christian teachers that have great knowledge of the Word of God, because we're not going to just send a student who has a question, well, you go speak to brother so-and-so who is the local preacher. No, you've developed a relationship with the student. You share God's Word with that student, because that's your wonderful opportunity to bring someone to Christ. And so we're all on board, and I'm just so thankful that God has made this possible. All the faculty will be between the ages of 27 and 33, and they've all committed 7 years. I know them that live in Zimbabwe are going to be there for long, but we wanted a commitment made, and so we went biblical. And 7 can sometimes mean endless, can't it? I don't know. So yeah, this is where we are, and we're just thankful. Oh, we were up to 123 cattle. I think we were close to about 70 or so. We're up to 123 head. We want to get to about 500 head of cattle, or maybe more than that. We will see. This was our first baptism from our well in Lesotho, you know, the one with the tank. And so this was our first lady that came, and we taught her the gospel, and she was ready. And I want you to see the plants that are being grown in the back. We are feeding 55 orphans there. And the orphans are getting fed, but they have planted their own garden, and they are giving it to widows, some of the food. So we want them to feel a part of it. And so far this year, and I'm going to close with this, we will have more baptisms before the end of the year, but 531, and all the congregations that have been planted through good works and through preaching the gospel and campaigns. And we just want to know that you're a part of something great. We are glad for the encouragement that we receive, and I hope and pray that you'll come sometime. Some of you put a team together in the years to come. And let me just say this before I sit down. I want to thank you for the vision that you have. Africa isn't super special. It needs the gospel just like you need the gospel here. And what you are doing right now with your plans is you're wanting to have a greater footprint here in this part of the world. And I thank God for what you're doing. And I will continue to pray for the vision that you have, and that vision becomes a reality. You know, in AD 57, the Apostle Paul, well, let me just put it there. In AD 57, there was this piece of land connected, the Peloponnese and Greece connected there. And it was a port. And at that port, there was ships coming in laden, and there was tourists coming in there full of money. And there was Apostle Paul writing his magnus opus. The city is Corinth, if you guessed it. That was his masterpiece. And his masterpiece, one of the great themes in that book of Romans is Jesus the Christ. And in Romans chapter 6, he challenges us to be risen with him and live for him. And that invitation never tarnishes, never gets old, never gets weakened. It is as powerful today as it was then. And we extend it tonight as we stand and as we sing.